Africa has the resources to be the richest continent in the world, but why is it not so? Africa has more mineral resources than any continent in the world. Is it gold? Is it platinum? Is it oil and gas? Is it arable land? Is it young population? Name those resources. Africa have more of them. In fact, Africa have more resources that no continent in the world has. No continent in the world have these resources. But how come we are still underdeveloped? Our manufacturing sector is still very weak. We export raw materials and import finished goods. African leaders, development experts, and African ministers all met in Abuja yesterday to discuss one thing. And this is what we want to talk about today. To discuss one simple thing. How do we industrialize Africa? Here is what no one is telling you. The manufacturing sector in Nigeria is very weak, contributing only about 9 to 10% of the entire GDP. In fact, if you look at the African manufacturing sector, it only contributes about 2% to the global manufacturing outputs. Just about 2%. In fact, between 1 and 2%. And that is not actually good. We are contributing the raw materials, like the raw materials for every one industrial revolution, while we continue to import finished goods from those industries or from those revolutions, which is not actually good for us. When you want to talk about how to industrialize Africa, there are so many things you have to look at. However, for the sake of this discussion, I only want to suggest three. Number one is electricity. You can't industrialize Africa if the electricity sector is very weak. You have to improve the energy, because there is no company that can survive without electricity. Companies that continue to run on diesel or finding an alternative source of energy, you always see that their production is always very expensive. And how many sectors can you be able to revive without electricity? So there is no industry or sector that does not in one way or another require the use of electricity. So you must be able to improve on your electricity, and you must be able to make it efficient and affordable to the companies, to all these companies that are going to help you industrialize. That is number one. And secondly, you must be able to have a consistent policy. Policies, not policies that you implement for now, maybe this year, and the next 2 years you are trying to shift, make a change of that policy. For example, you ban the importation of certain items to encourage local manufacturers, only for you to now go back after 2, 3, 4 years to revive that policy and now say you can now start importing. All these things will discourage investors. So you must be able to have a consistent policy environment such that investors can be able to come in. So you have to lower your interest rates. You have to make sure you provide security. A lot of things that you have to do before you can be able to industrialize Africa. And finally is the regional integration. African leaders have been making speeches for more than 60 years now about industrializing Africa. It's always about speeches. But when it comes to implementing, a lot of them are actually very weak. They tend not to implement those things they are saying. So until they are ready for real implementation of those policies, Africa will continue to export raw materials and continue to import finished goods. So those speeches have to be translated into action. We need to see everything, not just on paper, but in reality.